Hey, hello, good morning, and welcome. I'm Catherine Perry. I am your host for the Daily One Command. This is one of those topics. Now, I don't know if you've been following along, but every day we are doing a one command statement to. I just saw something out the window over here and it got my attention. Pardon me. I'm going to explain what's going on first. I don't know if you know me yet. I am living in an adorable mother-in-law cottage and on my daughter's property. And today the kids are home from school. You are going to hear some yelling and laughing, and I'm all about it. And I just watched. We got a boy and a girl, both 6, and it looks like they're taking turns trying to kill each other, but they're having a great time doing it. So, pardon me here. So let me come back with you. Okay, so welcome to the Daily One Command, where each day we are focusing on a particular concept, idea. We might even bring it down to a word so that we can start our day in an empowered mindset. And we're using the 6 steps of the One Command. And the One Command is a book and a technique developed by Asara Lovejoy, and she has a book by the same name, The One Command. And I'm a One Command practitioner, and I teach the Commanding Well seminars. So welcome to the Daily One Command. And today is one of those topics that we hear a lot about. In fact, we're kind of breaking down some of the tropes that we hear in the self-help, new age, holistic space. And one of those words that we hear a lot is acceptance. And when we hear about acceptance, very often it's in the 12-step program prayer. Lord, teach me how to accept the things I cannot change, accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the things I can. I've just butchered that statement. But it comes down to, once you accept your circumstances exactly the way it is, even if you don't like it, even if you don't understand it, and you accept the way things are, that's the beginning of happiness. And I think that there is a wisdom in that. But what winds up happening is we wind up feeling kind of powerless. Like, well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? I guess I have to accept it, or be mad all the time, or be miserable. I'm just going to try to make the best of a bad situation. And I think that there's strength and resilience and grit that can come from that. And at the same time, it can make you stuck in your thinking. Okay. Because it casts you separate from the thing that you truly desire. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, what is the lens that we're looking at this through? Now, this is a little long one. This came from a wonderful article on Medium, and I will put the link in the comments. But Maxwell Aiken says this, because we talk a lot about attracting, and someone's asking him, like, what's the difference between attracting and accepting? Attracting means bringing something that wasn't in your life into your life. And so what do we talk about? Law of attraction. Bring it in. It's not here. Bring that money to me. Bring that relationship, right? Accepting means understanding that it was always there. It's always here. And you can simply accept that and allow that which you desire to become a greater part of your life. I'm going to just create a space for this so that if you are on the broadcast and you want to read through that again, because very often we are spending time trying to attract, bring in, manifest, call forth, work towards it, right? But it is the central idea is that you don't have it, and that there's something wrong and that you don't. And that wrong could be your circumstances, or maybe it's something you feel like is inherently wrong with you. And one of the people who I kind of stand on their shoulders. I'm a huge fan of student. I listen to him more on YouTube, probably like daily. I've got something going, and it's from the teacher Neville Goddard, an incredible person. And I wrote this out because I want to make sure that I say this right, because a lot of times in the self-help world, the holistic spaces, mind, power, that type of thing, it is trying to create enough power. We want to raise our vibe. We want to try to be something so that we can get something. Okay. And of course, that would make sense. If we're trained in that from the day that we're born, right? Hey, if you want to be picked up, if you want me to cuddle you, I know you're crying, stop crying, and then I'll pick you up. If you were raised, like I'm a boomer generation, the people who raised and nurtured us and raised and nurtured our grandparents were told, don't pick up that baby. Don't hug and kiss that baby. Let them cry it out. You got to teach them to be tough, right? And so there was a lot that we were conditioned to believe in order to receive the bare minimum. And I'm not just talking about my generation. I'm talking about in just about any sphere of life and many generations. Okay. What made Neville Goddard's teachings radical is this, and I'm just going to go ahead and read what I wrote here. In Neville Goddard's metaphysical framework, this is one very direct way of putting it. There is no separation or distinction between that which you desire and who you are. You see, the word attracting denotes a separation. It denotes that there's some type of gap or barrier between what you want and what you currently have, which, going deeper, refers to who you currently are. For example, I'm someone with money or I'm someone without money. However, with Neville Goddard, these are merely states that can be changed through the direct application of imagination. However, Neville Goddard emphasized this a great deal. When you want something and you use his methods for attracting that which you desire, you aren't actually attracting it. Instead, you're doing something entirely different. You're accepting this desire is already there, already real, already a part of your reality. Money, if that's what you want, is never separate from you. It has never been separate from you. It's always been with you, within you. However, you may not have accepted it as such, which leads to the complications that you may have experiencing money. We have this big idea, and if what we have, it comes from, what is he saying here? Like, if we can accept that it's already here. Very often when I'm working with my clients, they go, I really hate my job. What do you want to do? I want to either be a coach, a healer. Hey, I'm just ready to retire. I got a little craft business I want to start, but I need the money. Well, why wouldn't you assume that the money would be there? Why aren't you putting those two ideas there? Earlier this week, we did a meditation where it's like, hey, if I already have what I want, we don't have to try to manifest all the different parts. You create that perfect moment that represents everything already being fulfilled. And that's what you're casting your imagination to. That's where you're putting your focus. But this acceptance thing, this is the big thing I really believe that is blocking a lot of people's abundance and prosperity and general happiness in life. And it's not because they're not accepting things the way they are, but it's because they don't really have that deep sense of acceptance within them. There's something where they feel inherently unaccepted or unacceptable. And in that either being unaccepted or unacceptable, it will make them blind to opportunities and invitations. We talked about this a little bit in awareness. It will make it feel uncomfortable if suddenly everybody's accepting you and you've never had that. And initially you may feel like there's something wrong or you're being tricked, and you could hit your upper limits, your capacity to receive. And if you aren't feeling accepted, and then we think, well, gosh, in order for me to feel accepted, I have to make certain things unacceptable, right? I'm going to raise my standards, which of course I want you to have standards. Once you get your personal standards designed, once you're aware of those, life actually gets a lot easier. It's not something that someone's failing or you're failing. It's like, this isn't a match. It's really not my standard. Thank you very much. And you start self-directing yourself towards that which, what works for you. But I want to talk about this deeper sense of acceptance and being accepted and feeling acceptable. Just think about that for a minute. Breathe into that idea of I am accepted. And you may say it out loud and notice what happens in your body. I am accepted. I am accepting. I am acceptable. What happens when you tune into those ideas or those feelings? What rises up to meet that? Is there sadness? Is there shame? Maybe a little anger? Maybe you realize that you haven't been an accepting person. You haven't been accepting other people as they are. You haven't been accepting gifts. You haven't been accepting wisdom. You haven't been accepting advice or support because of your belief about who you are. Because you put so many conditions in order to receive that, in order to be that, in order to know that. And we could talk about knowing what's acceptable and not. What would it be like if you created a state of self-acceptance so deep within you that it shifted your vibration, it raised your consciousness, and you experienced it to the degree that other people around you started feeling acceptance, accepting, acceptable, with you just walking around being yourself? The way I like to think about that is creating an environment within yourself of acceptance and outside of yourself of acceptance. I wonder what thoughts, memories, ideas, beliefs would simply dissolve away once you start connecting to the truth of your acceptance. And the reason that this is important, and in Neville Goddard's world too, is that when we, and in one command, if we make that command, we say, this is what I want, I'm visualizing it happening, I'm holding the space for that, and you're accepting that all the right conditions will arrive, that the money that's needed to support it is already there, and all you have to do is just accept the fact that it is done, it is done, it is done. How will you meet unexpected expenses then? How will you meet your dreams? How will you meet challenges in your relationships? How will you meet the changes in your life that we all navigate? We all come to those forks in the road. We all come to those new decisions. And we all face difficulty. And I wish I could tell you that once you get this, that there'll never be loss or tragedy again, because that is the way of life. But if you could meet it with the dignity and the courage and the confidence that comes from this acceptance, you're going to also meet grace. Let's command. So we're going to use a very simple command today. And I'm going to invite you to add at will. Okay. Now I'm going to make the command. You're going to follow along mentally. And then you can either state out loud or mentally anything else that you want to add to that. Okay. The basic command is I don't know how and here's what I want to command for. I don't know how I am living in a state of acceptance, of accepting, and acceptability. I only know I am now and I am fulfilled. We're going to go through the 6 steps of the one command. Close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. Settle into your body. And like a tree, I want to picture, visualize, or imagine that from the base of this tree, which would be very much located at the base of your spine, you have long roots going down into the earth. And those long roots, as they stretch out, are connecting to treasures, hidden treasures beneath the earth's surface. And as you become aware of your connection to the earth, you also become aware of the earth's connection to you. And I'm going to invite you to accept that earth energy to come up into your feet. You may be aware of it coming into your legs, your knees, your hips, your lower back. Let that energy just come right up your spine, into your neck and shoulders, down your arms, elbows, wrists, fingertips. And just breathe, and we're going to let the earth energy do its work in supporting you. And just, I'm going to invite you to hold this idea. I accept this support. Thank you. Bringing your attention to your heart as you align to your purpose. And your purpose is whatever it is that you want to experience in your life. More financial abundance, flow, ease, confidence, new living situations. Whatever that is, better relationships. Whatever it is that you're holding right now in your imagination to be made known to you. And now just align to that as it aligns to you. You're aligning to that idea, and that idea is aligning to you. And right now, as you're focusing on your heart, once again, I invite you. I accept that my desire is made real to me now. Just give that space. Very lightly, just lift your chin up And I'm going to invite you to become aware of your connection to Source. And it may be represented as a pole of light that's coming down through the top of your head. And it's coming right down through your body. That light's going down 2 channels on either side of your spine, and it goes all the way down to the center of the earth. And just be aware of that spiritual life force energy. It's always there. Right now, just in your mind, in your thoughts, your heart, to say, I accept this connection to Source. And Source accepts my connection. That feels very different, doesn't it? I accept this connection, and this connection accepts me. With your eyes closed, very softly roll your eyes up as if you are trying to look up through the top of your head. And you're going to travel up this pole of light, up above your home, up above your city, the state, your country, the hemisphere, out beyond the atmosphere, out beyond our solar system, out beyond the galaxy, out beyond to the edges of the universe. And soon you find yourself in this beautiful black void of space. In the distance, you may be aware of a teeny dot of light. Head towards that. And soon you're breaking through the darkness into the light of pure, open potential. And we're going to state our one command. Eyes up, follow along. I don't know how. I am now experiencing a state of acceptance, of accepting, and acceptable. I don't know how I'm experiencing that in my inner environment and my outer environment. I only know I am creating a new environment of acceptance now, and I am fulfilled. And just let that go. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good in its fulfillment. And now, just as you're starting to receive, witness that energy of this new understanding, this greater state of being called acceptance, accepting, acceptable. And as this unwinds and lets go, you may start noticing some memories or feelings are starting to rise up. Just notice it and let it go. Notice it and let it go. Let the light and this download, let this energy do the work. There's nothing for you to do except observe and know that you are being transformed. And just allow these new ideas to start to rewind and integrate. Breathe into that. Now, before we open our eyes, I want you to check in on this idea again. And this is a very powerful part of the one command. We had that feeling when you first said, I am accepted, I'm accepting, I am acceptable. And notice what you paid attention to what came up. Now, let's hold that idea about I am accepted, I'm accepting, I'm acceptable. What do you know now? What are you aware of? Keep your eyes closed for a minute. And there may be a memory there may be a thought, an idea about a time that you were very clearly communicated to that you're not accepted, you're not acceptable. How can you bring that feeling of acceptance in? What would happen as you bring in this new awareness to that idea? Hey, maybe that moment had more to do with their beliefs and ideas about being accepted, accepting, and acceptable. And it had nothing to do with you. Maybe there's somebody you hurt. Maybe there's an opportunity you rejected because you didn't feel good enough. What happens is you're bringing in this greater state of being, of acceptance, as you're meeting those memories. But now, yeah, we're just letting the energy doing the work. There's nothing for you to do. But now here's the next piece. As you think about an opportunity, like maybe an opportunity you shied away from before, if it came to you today, and maybe even if you weren't that comfortable, how likely would you be to accept it? Yeah, I'm getting some big energy moving. Isn't this lovely? I'm going to invite you to stay with this idea about I am accepted, I'm accepting, I am acceptable. And we always recommend keeping a journal. I hope that you get a notebook. We do have the worksheets that I always put in the comments to help you with what you're holding for the week. You can keep track of your commands. But this is a good one to be sure and start making some notes about, thinking deeply on. I'm like, what would life be if you just accepted that your good is already here? That the money you want, need, or desire is already here. That the validation, that the success, that the love, that's already there. And of course, we always say that 7th step is inspired action. So be ready for whatever idea or inspiration, the opportunity. And of course, you just go for it. You could open your eyes, stretch, breathe in, and embrace yourself. Kind of rub that new energy in of this state of acceptance, this environment of acceptance within you and outside of you. What's going to happen is you're going to start naturally gravitating towards what you already accept to be true. You're going to start naturally gravitating towards the people who accept you, and those who don't, it'll be like, well, you aren't my people anyway. Okay, Tulu, bye, right? I don't care. It won't matter because you will already have accepted yourself. Nothing can ever be taken away from you again, ever. I just want you to know that I see you, I witness your mastery, and I'm blessed by your presence in the world. And thank you so much for joining me in these morning talks. I hope you'll continue to do so. Until next time, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I witness your mastery. Bye-bye, everybody.